Good Grand Rising. It's 10:10:24, and you are in tune to House Calls with Dr. Rory T. Edwards. Now, there's a few things that have changed. One, went back to the original background because today's topic is so valuable to me because I'm actually doing it. I'm procrastinating today. I am procrastinating because we've all known, we've all been there. That moment that we tell ourselves, I'll get to it later. And it usually comes up with the mindset that we have more time than is allotted in the day. And so I usually don't tell people when I'm traveling because I post pictures and do things like that when I get back. But everybody who has viewed me over the last few weeks should know that I will be in Connecticut, New Britain, Connecticut tomorrow doing my book launch. That's right, The Man That's Missing in Me. I will be doing that book launch tomorrow. We'll come back to the book a little bit later because we want to talk about today's topic. But I will be doing the book launch tomorrow evening at Two Girls store. We'll be doing that to about from 6 to 8, little sip and sign. So if you don't have time to come down on Saturday, you can definitely come down on Friday night and we can communicate, talk a little bit about the book, and you can also get your signed copy. But what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about the psychology of procrastination. And why do I want to talk about that? Because procrastination in reality revolves around a complex emotional and cognitive process, right? We always think that we do something and then we say, well, I'll get back to it later because I really need to concentrate on this. And so what happens is we never, in most cases, not never, in most cases, we never get an opportunity to go back and fulfill that task because we've moved on to multiple tasks. And so, what is really some of the things that contribute to procrastination? Because one of the things that I was listening to yesterday, there's a song by Marvin Gaye that was he wrote in 1973, and it's from his I forgot the album title, but the song is "If I Should Die Tonight." And some of the lyrics talk about all of the people who see their dreams. Talks about some of the people who hold on to their dreams, but he talks about many never will fulfill their dreams. Now, those are not the words in the songs. The words are much more elegant and it's in the voice of Marvin Gaye, so you know it sounds a little bit more sexual, sounds a little bit more enticing. But if you get a chance to listen to that song, If I Died Tonight, by Marvin Gaye. If you put in those words, you'll find it. But he talks about that, and that's the thing what procrastination does on the psychic. It makes people have visions of dreams. Makes people have visions of accomplishing something, but many never will. Because they move on to something different. They move on to something that they think is fashionable. They move on to something because somebody else has it. They see things and they want to be connected to things that may not be important to them, but they see it as being important. It's something now with social media. We see something, and the first thing we want to do is go on and buy it because we think nobody else has saw it. You know how many people are watching on social media daily that you think you're going to be the only person who buys it, or you have a thought and you think you're the only person that has that thought? The difference in people who have thoughts and people who have outcomes is action. That's what it is. That's what procrastination is. Sum it up, and I'm going to go take it from the back. Procrastination is taking action from a thought that you have or a task that you're involved in that you complete. You complete in a timely fashion. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Everybody's allotted the same time. We spoke about this a little bit last week. Everybody's allotted the same time in a day. Now, if you're a person who procrastinates or believes that you're running out of time and that means that you have too many things on your agenda. Now, if you write down those things in a level of priority, then you will realize that you'll get much more accomplished in a day than you would at the end of the day saying, gosh, I didn't even finish this stuff. I started this and I didn't finish. Write down the things that are most important to you in the day that you need to get accomplished so that you're moving your agenda forward, and you will start to begin on how you eliminate procrastination. All right? Now, what are some of the signs or some of the reasons that people procrastinate, right? One of them is fear of failure. Nobody wants to fail. And people think sometimes they take on things, and if they don't finish it, that they'll be identified, or people will say they're a failure. You're only a failure if you don't give it a try. Failure comes to those who don't make an attempt. So you can't say you're a failure if you didn't give it an opportunity or a chance to do it. That's number one. Number two, perfectionism. How many people have been told in their life that if you're going to do something right the first time, do it right. Don't do it a second time if you have an opportunity to do it the first time. So some people are under the stress of perfectionism. See, there's nobody in this world who's a perfectionist, who's perfect. If you believe in a higher being, you think and you believe that that person's perfect. So unless you're that person, then you have the wiggle room to not be perfect. So you don't have to be perfect. That's what happens, is that if you look at something, you create something, then you look at it again and you say, wow, I can make additions. But you've made an attempt, and it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's perfect to you, then regardless of what everybody else thinks, then it's done correctly. What's the third thing? Lack of motivation, right? You're going to have to find motivation, either intrinsic motivation or extrinsic motivation. You're going to have to find some type of motivation that gets you up and ready, and some type of energy that's going to give you the motivation to want to do what the task is, so that you don't procrastinate. Pick things that make you feel good. Pick things that will utilize the energy that you have created for yourself in this day, and utilize those things and use that as motivation to get to the end goal. Those are some of the things that do that. Let's go to another one. Let's go to another. This technology stuff, I'm letting you know something. It is something extra. Something I talked about a little bit earlier, time and consistency. We get up, we spend so much time maybe scrolling the internet on our phones, looking at videos, checking on the news, and I hope everybody's checking on all of our friends and family, and not even our friends and family, but all of those who are in the lane of the hurricane Milton. I hope that all of you are safe. Hope that all of you come out unscathed, and so for those, you're checking on that. You're seeing where the hurricane is moving. You're doing a lot of things that take up time that you could be setting your agenda for the day. So when we say time and consistency, put your time in increments. Set up a schedule and put your time in increments. If you have to start a schedule in the beginning, put it in increments and write down what you'll be doing during that time period. Self-regulation failure. Self-regulation failure is often it reflects self-control. Self-regulation means that you say you're going to do something, you get on the phone, you start talking, you put that down, then when you get off the phone, you forgot what you were doing. So then you go to do something else. So you have to regulate your own time to make sure that what you're doing takes priority. If the person on the other end is calling you just to chat, you can tell them that you'll get back to them in approximately 20-25 minutes, whatever it takes for you to complete that task, so that you don't procrastinate and say that I didn't fulfill this task. Okay. Number 7 is overestimating future capacity. When you overestimate future capacity, often believes that you are optimizing your thoughts about failing again. You know, you're saying, well, I don't know if this is going to work for me, and you're talking yourself out of it. It's called self-sabotage too. So when you start self-sabotaging, any project that you're working on will definitely cause you to procrastinate, because then what happens? Your motivation starts to shift, your motivation starts to change, and you start to look for things that you think are going to start making you feel good and utilize the energy that you have at that particular time. So you want to do that. And the last one I'm just going to talk about is decision parallelism. When you make a decision, sometimes it's what I just said, self-sabotage. You paralyze yourself. You paralyze yourself with making a decision, and then you question that decision. You call somebody else to ask them if you think it's the right decision. You allow your thoughts to tell you that you're not making the right decisions, and that's what causes procrastination. Those are some of the things that are causes procrastination in people's lives. Now, what do I say all the time? I'm not going to talk to you about the problems without providing a solution. And if you ever listen to the Rory T. Edwards show with the wonderful Sheila Robinson, what our motto was, everybody's talking about problems. We want solutions. If you're going to get on the phone and talk to me, or you're going to come to me, please already have a solution in mind. What do you think that solution might be? Well, let's do that. Let's break the cycle of procrastination. Give you a few steps. If you're procrastinating, you know you are, maybe look at some of these steps and write them down, and then you put together a plan on how you can utilize them. One of them, and I think I spoke about all of them, but let's talk about them one more time. The first thing is break down tasks into smaller steps. This is to reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. If you feel overwhelmed, you break the steps down into smaller increments, and so you'll be able to complete tasks. And as you win, people, we all know, everybody who's listening, everybody who will listen knows the feeling that you get when you win. When you start to win, your energy starts to increase. You'll start to feel good about the things that you're doing, and then you'll get to accomplish much more, because what you're looking for is that feeling of winning. And so you break down your task into smaller steps. What's number two? Set specific deadlines. Like I said, put stuff on paper, set specific deadlines. If you got to work for 30 minutes and put down and take a little mental health break for 10 to 15 minutes, you write that down, you put that into your plan, and then you allocate an amount of time that it's going to take for you to complete that task. If you think it's going to take you 3 hours, you set 3 hours aside that you're not going to be interrupting. You're going to break it down into smaller tasks, and you're going to set specific times, and you're going to set breaks in there also for you to take breaks. If you need, like I said, take a mental health break, if you need to eat something, if you need to use the bathroom, you put that into your deadlines, and that's how you also will gain that energy. Number three is practice self-compassion. By acknowledging mistakes that we all will make, it gives you an opportunity to feel successful when you do accomplish that goal. See, when we go into it, I said about perfectionism. You don't have to be perfect at everything you do, because you're human. We were created to make mistakes. And it depends on what you do when you make a mistake. Do you learn from that mistake? If you don't and you create it again, then it would become a habit. And so that's what we're talking about. So you practice self-compassion. I spoke about this earlier, but number four is find intrinsic motivation. That's find motivation inside. Don't allow the outside to dictate what you're doing. Find the motivation inside. Why are you doing this? Does it make you feel good? It should make you feel good. If it makes you feel good, that's your intrinsic motivation that you utilize to prevent yourself from procrastinating and completing the task. And number five is use techniques like the Pomodoro method. It improves focus and manages time in shorter bursts. That's what I was talking about a little bit earlier when I said set specific deadlines. That technique, the Pomodoro method, allows you to focus on what you're doing and manage it in shorter bursts. So if you have something that you need to complete in 3 hours, set time limits, set 20 minutes stop, set 30 minutes stop, take a little break to get your energy and motivation back up, and then you move on. And so those are the things that we're talking about when we say how to break the cycle of procrastination. So with that being said, I'm going to end this session today, but I also want to let you know that we hope that you will be able to join us. We will go a little bit live streaming on Saturday, 10/12, at the New Britain Public Library on my book launch for, once again, what we say, The Man That's Missing in Me. This is my newest book, my one of 9, but I think it's probably one of my better writes, because It's a lot of research in it, and it talks about just the journey of the man. It talks about the journey of the man, what we need to do to establish ourselves in the communities, in our personal lives, in the world, and also how we develop the lines of communication of different generations. We have to stop saying that the younger people are lost. The only reason they're lost is because we allowed them to be lost. We were responsible for making sure that the generation that comes behind us is better than us. And if we're saying that they're lost, that means we've allowed them to be lost. So we have to start changing the narrative in how we speak about our people, because what we speak and profess with our mouths will become a reality. So you want to make sure that your narrative is a little bit more in tune with how you provide tools and gifts for the people who come after you. And that's one of the things. Stop procrastinating in your words and start producing action with your actions and your words. All right? With that, again, definitely you can go to my website to get the book if you're not going to be able to be in Connecticut. But we will be announcing something really soon. We'll be going on a 5-city tour really soon too. But you can go to my website, www.rorytedwards.com. Once again, that's www.rorytedwards.com. So I want to thank all of those who joined today, those who will listen, and those who will tune into future House Calls with Dr. Rory T. Edwards as we leave today talking about how to break the cycle of procrastination. So until we talk, or if I see you in the future, I want you to be blessed. I want you to stay well. I want you to become the person that you were put on this earth to be. And with all those, I would say, peace and blessings to all of you. And Ashe.